She was the last person anyone would expect to be sitting in seat 1A. Not because she wasn't qualified, but because no one believed a black woman could hold that position of authority. When the flight crew asked her to move to a seat in the back, they had no idea who they were really dealing with. But within just 5 minutes, everything about that flight changed. Before we go on, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on new content. Share this video with your friends. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. We love seeing how far our story reaches. Camille Rhodess walked confidently through Terminal 5, her Louis Vuitton carry-on rolling behind her like a loyal shadow. She wore a sharp pair of tailored charcoal gray trousers, a silky blouse, and her trademark navy blue heels. Nothing flashy, just polished and professional as always. She had spent the morning in a high-stakes meeting with global investors and was now flying from New York to San Francisco for a crucial appointment that could seal the biggest merger in her tech company's history. Saying she had a lot on her plate would be an understatement, but Camille was no stranger to pressure. What she wasn't prepared for was what happened next. At the gate, she smiled and handed her boarding pass to the attendant. The woman barely looked up. "Boarding Group 1 hasn't started yet. Please wait back there, ma'am." Camille raised an eyebrow. "I'm in boarding Group 1, she replied calmly. The attendant scanned the pass again, her expression shifting. "Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead." Camille didn't say a word. She'd seen that look before. The moment of disbelief when her credentials didn't match people's expectations. Her skin was always judged before the barcode. She stepped onto the plane, found her seat, 1A first-class window, and settled in. Her assistant had booked everything as usual. Priority check-in, lie-flat seat, and a glass of lemon water. This was routine until it suddenly wasn't. 10 minutes later, as more passengers boarded, a white man in a navy suit approached her. "I think you're in my seat," he said sharply, holding out his boarding pass. Camille tilted her head. "No, this is seat 1A. That's what my ticket says." He nodded toward a nearby flight attendant, a young blonde woman who had been welcoming passengers. "Excuse me," he said. "There seems to be a mix-up." The attendant turned toward Camille and looked at her as if she were a lost piece of luggage. "Ma'am, could you please show me your boarding pass?" she asked. Camille handed it over. The attendant examined it, blinked, then frowned. "There must be a system error," she muttered. "Sir, your seat is 1A. Ma'am, I'm afraid you'll have to move." Camille was taken aback. "No, I won't," she said firmly. The attendant tensed. "We're trying to handle this calmly, but we need your cooperation to avoid delaying the flight." Camille took a deep breath. "Let me be clear. My seat was booked and confirmed days ago. I fly with this airline regularly. If there's been a mistake, it's not on my end. I'm not moving." The man scoffed. "Are you serious right now?" The attendant leaned down, lowering her voice as if addressing a misbehaving child. "Ma'am, this is first class. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be." Camille's voice turned cold. "I am the CEO of Morotech Global. I paid for this seat. If there's an issue, you need to speak with your supervisor." At that moment, another crew member appeared. An older woman in her 50s with a stern expression. Someone who looked like she had navigated every corner of the skies. "What's going on here?" she asked. The younger attendant whispered something to her, nodding toward Camille. The supervisor glanced down at the boarding pass, then up at Camille. "We've checked with the gate," she said. "It seems there was an overbooking. You'll need to move to business class." "Because I'm the only black woman in first class." Camille shot back. The supervisor straightened up. "That has nothing to do with it." "It has everything to do with it," Camille replied sharply. Camille replied, "You didn't ask anyone else to move." "Just me." The cabin fell silent. Other first-class passengers were listening. A few looked uncomfortable, but most averted their gaze. Camille reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. "I suggest you call your supervisor." "Supervisor," she said. Because I'm about to make a call that will impact every name on your payroll. There was a pause before she dialed. The phone rang twice before a clipped voice answered. Brandon Lee speaking. Brandon, it's Camille. I'm on flight 782 to San Francisco. Your crew just tried to remove me from my first-class seat because a white male passenger decided he deserves it more than I do. Silence, then understanding. Please remain seated. Camille hung up. The entire crew had gone pale. Passengers nearby shifted uneasily, pretending not to listen, but they heard everything. 5 minutes later, just as boarding finished, the intercom crackled to life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're experiencing a brief delay due to a staffing issue. We appreciate your patience. A staffing issue? The youngest flight attendant was the first to be called forward, followed by the senior supervisor, then the captain. 15 minutes later, a new flight crew began replacing them one by one. Passengers whispered among themselves. The man who had claimed Camille's seat quietly moved to the back, avoiding eye contact and offering no apology. The new attendant approached Camille. Ma'am, can I get you anything to drink while we finalize takeoff? Camille nodded. Water with lemon, please. By the time they landed in San Francisco, the story had already gone viral. Someone in first class had recorded the confrontation. It spread like wildfire. Hashtag Seat 1A was trending within hours. Morok quietly released a statement. We are committed to dignity, equity, and zero tolerance for discrimination. These values don't stop at the boardroom. They guide us on every flight, in every meeting, and every place we go. Camille didn't celebrate their downfall. He never did. But she also refused to stay silent. The next week, she was invited to speak at a global leadership summit. In her speech, she said, "When you assume power, where's my skin?" Camille stood on stage, once again wearing her navy blue heels and poise. I didn't grow up in boardrooms. I grew up in foster homes in neighborhoods where we borrowed more than we owned. But I worked. I studied. I sacrificed. I didn't come this far to be told, on a random Tuesday at 35,000 feet, that I don't belong. She paused. If we keep rewarding ignorance with silence, it will never end. I didn't demand their jobs. I demanded respect. What happened next? That was on them. The applause was overwhelming. The lesson here? Bias doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers through customer service smiles and everyday policies. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how educated, or how powerful. If your skin tells a different story than what they expect, they'll try to rewrite it. But when you stand firm, with calm, with truth, and with action, you don't just defend your seat. You protect the next person's right to be seen, to belong.